Let's get it started. Man, where are we at? The 27th episode of Culture of Splife. Hey, look, guys, this is summertime. Hit us up on our socials. Follow us, because we got to gear up for all the sports seasons that are coming up. Right now, we're in baseball full swing, but we are at Culture of Splife everywhere. You can find Culture of Splife podcast where you get your podcast, whether that be Apple Podcasts or Spotify or just some random page that you find on Google. Let's invite our friends in here live with us. All right, they're coming on. Let's see if we can get them to join some video too. Turn those cameras on, gentlemen. Hey. And I'm sorry if I was talking over you guys, but I was completely muted. I subscribe to the mute whenever you open TikTok button. So I was just introducing us and getting us started. So we're going to have a short podcast tonight. Maybe the shortest podcast ever. Maybe.
We'll see.
We'll find out. We're all tired. It's summer. All the summer's wiping us out. We've been on vacations.
Oh, my goodness.
And those just make us more tired.
Yeah.
We're turning into old men. We're getting more tired. We just need it to start getting dark at 5 p.m.
Yes.
And some football season to start. Because, I don't know about you guys, but that All-Star game last night for me, man, that was too late. It was tough for me to stay up all night for that one.
It started out really fast. I mean, I think they were in the fifth inning by 8 o'clock. And then it ended up finishing at
not many runs are scored.
Right. But then they ended up having a lot of base runners, and the game, I think, ended right around 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I
kept it together through the seventh, and then the National League, who I'm rooting for to win, right? They put 2 runners on base and then strike out 2, or one grounded out, one struck out, and I'm like, man, this was it. This was y'all's chance. Y'all left 2 stranded. We're done. And then what do I find out this morning? National League won it in the 8th.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the first time in 50 years they've won in an All-Star game. But hey,
easy, Rod, easy. Only 10 years. Only 10 years.
I mean, it feels like, as this thing is unfolding over the years, it made me think about where when you had the AFC to go 14 straight years without winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
back in the 80s and 90s.
That's what it felt like. It's always been an interesting dynamic for me with the All-Star game anyway, because you used to have that world of the league that don't let their pitchers bat versus the league that their pitchers have to bat, and so the All-Star game had that really cool dynamic to it. Of course, now both leagues have the same set of rules, unless there's a rule that I don't know about that y'all can tell me about. But I've always felt that the American League's going to win it because they're cheating, obviously, because their pitchers don't have to bat.
Yeah. I do have a question that came up yesterday while I was watching the game. And if y'all don't know the answer, hopefully a listener knows the answer. But the pitcher is only able to throw over to first base twice, right? After they've thrown over to first base twice, they must deliver the ball to the catcher.
Right.
Why doesn't the runner on first base take a lead halfway to second base or something?
Because he can throw it to second.
The pitcher can step off the rubber and throw to second. They just can't throw to first. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So then they should at least get a Vince Coleman type lead.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. You're getting 3 steps.
If you get thrown out at second after they've thrown over twice, you're not good at. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my thought too. And It's funny, the rule changes this year, like every one of them's added up to me to more points being scored, leads to slower games, right?
Yeah.
So, like, everything for this season, all rule changes this season was we're going to have a faster game. We're going to have a faster game, faster games. We're not going to intentionally walk anymore. Y'all just take your base. It's going to be faster games, faster games. And it's like, but everything they did technically slows the game down because it's like, yeah, we got a pitch clock, but also if I'm sitting there, my catcher's not giving me the right sign, I've eventually just got to throw it.
All right.
I don't have time to think about it. There's no mental, psyching out or anything like that. But, so that's an advantage to the batter to me.
Yep.
Right.
A batter doesn't get more comfortable the longer they're in the box, right? That count's only going to get higher. It's only going to get scarier. That goes to the pitcher, I think. It's just my opinion. I don't have any reason to believe that outside of being in the batter's box versus being on the mound myself. So, I just feel like it's a more offensive game because, like you said, I mean, unless there's a pop up that I have to get back, why wouldn't that runner advance to second?
Right.
On a 6-step jump.
Yeah,
this makes sense.
It had to have been the most entertaining top of the first in All-Star game history. So the first batter, Ronald Acuna, opposite field, hits the ball to deep right field. Garcia for the Rangers is running back. It appears that he can't see the ball at all. The sun is so bright in right field. And all of a sudden, he jumps up and catches it on the wall. So the next batter is Freddie Freeman. He also goes opposite field. And I can never remember the guy's name. What's his name? Randy Azzarino or
Arizarena.
Yeah. He did just about the exact same thing. So, I mean, I'm a big National League guy. Obviously, I don't have any skin in the game because the Cubs aren't going to be in the World Series, so it doesn't matter who has home field advantage as far as I'm concerned. But, what a great start to a game that then nothing happened for like 6 innings.
Yeah.
Right. I like that dynamic though. You have the Braves poster child and then the former Brave.
I was thinking about that, yes.
Yeah, like
the juxtaposition.
1 and 2 slots. Well, even like, Craig Kimbrell was the closer for the National League this year. If you were watching live, I'm sure that scared the crap out of you because apparently he doesn't like playing in the All-Star game. Because does he walk 2, then struck out 2 or something like that? Like,
I was surprised he didn't have a Cubs jersey on. That's what he did with the Cubs.
Yeah, right.
It'd be bases loaded, and he'd get a double play to end it, and he ended with a strikeout and 3 walks and no runs. It's like, what? How is that possible in 1 inning?
I need to reach out to him, see if we can get him on the podcast.
Definitely.
Me and him went to college together, right?
Yeah, Wallace.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, I was his student trainer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because he's younger than me, and when I went back for sports medicine, I worked with the baseball team some, and I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't exactly the biggest fan of him there, but once he got to the Braves, I went all fangirl and was like, oh, I know him.
So obviously one of the big highlight every year in the All-Star break is the home run derby. So any thoughts by you guys from what you got a chance to see? Vlad Guerrero Jr. won it, so.
Rod, I actually watched it, most of it live.
I did too.
And I had no idea that it had the format that it does.
Yeah.
No idea. And it really frustrated me when Julio Rodriguez broke the record for the most home runs in a round, because the King Griffey Juniors and the Mo Vaughns, these guys that were unbelievable home run hitters only had 10 outs, while
Yep.
Julio Rodriguez hit a ton of line drives, 200 feet, several ground balls, foul balls. I should go back and watch. I still have it on the
I
DVR
mean,
to
and you
see how
get
many
extra
balls he
time, and
didn't
you get
hit.
like 15 water breaks. And while you're like
Exactly.
up there, I mean, it's like, I mean, like, what are we doing? I mean,
Right.
yeah, you get 41. Although for me, it's kind of like one of those things where, okay, so he hits 41 home runs in the first round, and he comes back in the semifinal round, and he's like out because of this, just ridiculous format, right? And so I mean, I'm with you, Josh. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, let's go back to the format that we had, like you said, 10 outs. I mean, you just let everybody hit. We just take the top four, for instance, and then we just move on to the next one, and then we take the top two, and then from there, they battle it out for the championship. That's how it should be.
Right. When did it become March Madness? I
I
guess I
mean,
haven't
it
watched it
makes
in
no
And what,
so
sense.
long.
I mean, and is it just me? I could be wrong on this one, but didn't we have a lot more people in it when we were kids? Like, I don't remember it just being like 8 dudes and that
I
was it.
thought, I mean,
It started out as a bigger tournament, right?
wasn't it 10 at one
I
point?
was thinking 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you have 10 outs, I mean, you can do that because, I mean, like with 8 people, and you're like, well, you can get extra time if you hit two 440-foot home runs. And then you can also get extra time if, you decide that you want extra time. And, I mean, it's like, what? What are we doing? I mean, then like you get a water break in between now?
Right. But you don't get extra points if you switch hit. That was
No.
like the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Right.
Adley Rutschman or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Rutschman, I mean, and that's the other thing. That dude hit 27 home runs, which was like the second highest or third highest total in the first round, but he went against somebody that, just happened to just be like just out of his mind. But if we were with the old format, he would have moved on.
Right.
That's the way it was the year Alonso for the Mets won it.
Hmm.
Was that 2 years ago that he won that? I don't know because
He
they've
won
not had
back to
this.
back.
Yeah, yeah.
He
He
did do
won
it back
back
to
to
back.
back. Yeah.
Okay, I
Mhm.
was thinking so, but I didn't want to give him that credit because he's a Met. But like he ends up against that dude from the Orioles, and it's like this matchup is not fair at all because
Mhm.
the real final round was 2 rounds ago where Alonso went against the dude that hit, like 20 home runs to his
Mhm.
21 or whatever it was. I don't remember the number. And then you've got this guy, and I'm not taking away from the dude from the Orioles story that year because, he beat cancer and then came back. Now he's in the home run derby. Yay, let's, wipe the tears from our eyes and watch this guy. But I mean, like, he got slaughtered that year in the
I mean, it
final
was like
round.
Notre Dame going to the playoffs.
Right. Exactly. Rudy. It only goes so far.
That's right. Yeah, you're talking about Mancini. He's a
Yes.
Cub now.
Thank you.
Anybody that was good like 3 or 4 years ago is now on the Cubs. That's
Oh,
pretty
wow.
much the way that we put our team together. So
Yeah.
Bellinger, MVP in 2019, Mancini did pretty well with the Orioles. We got Hosmer, all these guys that are just washed up. So
So it's
I
like
will
that
say,
playbook. That's like the 2021 Lakers playbook. Just get everybody that was good like 10 years ago.
that's right.
I will say that Mancini, though, man, I felt so bad for him playing for the Orioles that season because the Orioles were horrible that year. I mean, I don't know that they won 30 games that season. It was atrocious how bad they were. And like it was just it was one of the best stories in baseball, and then you have their record. Because for him to come back from cancer, huge deal. But then he gets put on that team, right? And it's like, well, you know, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes it's rained out, right?
That's right.
And now they're like, surging.
Right, right. Yeah, it's amazing what a couple of years will do for an
I
organization.
mean, hey, you've got them. I mean, what's next? A solar eclipse?
Right,
Well,
right.
it's like
I think
the
it's
Cincinnati Reds. I mean, they are so young, but man, they are playing some unbelievable ball.
dude. What's his
Um,
name? Dela Cruz? Is
oh
that?
yeah,
Oh
Yes.
Ellis.
my gosh.
Yeah.
But he's their surge. He's the whole thing.
Yep.
Once he got the call up, like, I mean, I think they've lost a handful of games
That's it.
since he's been called up and
Yeah.
went like from a bad spot to first place.
Yes.
And
That's what happens when you're a viral
Josh,
celebrity, man. People are calling you while you're live recording.
man, you gotta give us some footage of the turntable, man. You gotta get the turntable in the shot for you.
we'll just go ahead and edit that out of the podcast. I haven't done any video editing lately, so we'll edit that out. Hey, we didn't ask you, Josh. Do you have any trivia questions for us this week? We didn't talk about it.
I think I had some, but I forgot to
You didn't write them down.
write them down.
Yeah,
Well, Uncle Joe's
Old
on
age will get you.
vacation.
Uncle Joe's on vacation.
Have you
Uncle
guys
Joe's
seen-
tired. Uncle Joe's really tired. I actually, old man, woke up at 3:45 last night or this morning
Wow.
and could not go back to sleep. That has never happened to me ever.
That's
in
true.
my
That's
life.
true, old man. That's very agrarian of you.
Oh yeah. I can tell you what time the birds start chirping. I can tell you when it's bright out already, even though the sun's not up. Oh yeah, I got it all for you. Absolutely. So I am tired.
That's
So
gonna be
Uncle Joe
Rod
slept
tomorrow.
through the trivia
Oh my
segment.
goodness.
So if y'all notice though, the trivia questions that are posting, they're not quite Uncle Joe's worthy, but we do have some video trivia questions that are posted to all of our social accounts. Just a little some easy, some hard. Today's was a little weird. Was looking for football teams that have never had NFL football teams that have never had cheerleaders or Super Bowl wins.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
Ever had cheerleaders or Super Bowl wins.
What about the Jaguars?
No, they have cheerleaders.
Yeah, they've got
Cheerleaders.
cheerleaders. They've got cheerleaders.
Wow.
Man.
Because there are a lot of teams now that don't have cheerleaders because they got rid of them. But yeah, we posted that one today. Lack of cheerleaders and Super Bowl wins. I think I worded it probably a little weird though, because I'm getting some I mean never had cheerleaders, right? Never had cheerleaders. Because I've gotten a couple of answers that are like, oh, this team, and it's like, yeah, I know that. I mean, it's right today, but it's not always been right. Because like the Chargers,
I was about to say the Chargers. Would
yeah,
be my next guess.
they don't have cheerleaders now, but they have had cheerleaders in the
Okay.
past.
Do the Panthers have cheerleaders?
Yes, or have had them in the past.
Yeah.
And that's also tricky too because of like a team like the Packers, which we know won Super Bowls before, but they have a collegiate cheering squad that comes up. So like the Packers don't have cheerleaders, but they have a cheer squad.
How about the Browns?
Oh, that's one of the teams right there.
Yeah. No cheerleaders and definitely no Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ernest Biner.
That's right.
The Drive.
And,
Right.
and the Strip. Yep.
Yep. The Strip. No, the Drop. Looked to me like he was walking into the end zone and was like, I don't need this anymore.
Nope. I should put the trophy right here, coach.
No doubt. So speaking of 30 plus years ago, did y'all hear that this is the 30-year anniversary of Jim Valvano's speech?
I mean, that's amazing. And I talk about that speech all the time. I've even talked about it with my kids and everybody. Like, to me, that's one of the top 3 speeches I've ever heard. I actually, as an 11-year-old, got a chance to listen to that SB speech live, and I mean, I've just never forgotten it. So I mean, it's just, I know in pregame, Josh, you were talking about the producers are in his ear talking about just a couple more minutes. Come on, get off of it. And then it was just so funny. He called it out in the middle of the speech, and it was just that was great.
So for somebody that's new to it and don't have any clue, what I think that was about a 10-minute speech, if I'm not mistaken. Give us the 1 minute rundown. One of y'all want to give us the 1 minute
Well,
rundown
I
of the
mean,
speech?
one of the things that he kind of spoke about his journey from through coaching to the miracle team that won it in '83. Also just to obviously the struggle with cancer. I mean, he was literally like, you know, any day now, as far as dying, and it was just I believe like a couple of months later. I mean, like literally, they were having to hold him up just to even get him on the stage for the speech, and he covered a couple of things. Number one, it was just kind of a just an invitation to everybody that listened as to how to live life, and he talked about there's three things that you should have every day to have a full day, and he talked about laughter. He talked about having your emotions move to tears and being able to think. And he says if you can laugh, cry, and think in a day, that's a full day. And that's how we should always live our life. And then, of course, the infamous piece of this, the famous part of the speech where he talks about, that cancer, even though it can ravage his body, it can't touch his mind, it can't touch his heart, it can't touch his soul. And so don't ever give up. And so that literally just became just the rallying cry for cancer. And then Dick Vitale, who now we know has vocal cord cancer, basically just he picked up the baton from Jimmy, he was his best friend at the time. And what we see with ESPN and the Jimmy V Classic and coaches versus cancer and everything else, that started from that particular speech 30 years ago.
That's exactly right. And he was so sick. I mean, he was told not to go to the ESPYs, like
Yeah.
absolutely do not go. And he said, not only am I going to go, but I'm going to ride in first class.
Mm-hmm.
And he was literally sick the whole way there, extremely sick. And to Rod's point, he basically had to be carried up the stairs. And
Yes.
what was so funny, Rod sort of alluded to, what I talked about in pregame, and that was just, they're telling me to get off this stage. Do you think that I care about 30 seconds? I've got tumors all over my body. Do you think I
Mm-hmm.
care about this person in my ear that's telling me to get off this stage? And then he just proceeded to talk for, like Drew said, another 8 minutes. And it was unbelievable. And then when he sat down, he said to his wife, "Did I do okay?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he was such a perfectionist. He was so great in every aspect of life. And while he was in his last few days, few weeks of life, he still wanted to make sure that he did a great job for the audience and everything. And I mean, we're literally in a restaurant today, and my wife is just streaming tears as she's
Mm-hmm.
reading the subtitles on the TV. Like it was just amazing. Because there's this show out right now called The Speech on ESPN. It's
Mm-hmm.
one of those like E60 type deals. And his wife was talking, his daughter was talking, Krzyzewski was talking, Vitale, Chris Berman, all these guys. And so I'm definitely going to watch it back tonight where I can actually hear it.
Oh yeah.
He was an amazing man. And then, of course, they started showing Stuart Scott
Mm-hmm.
and who was what was the one lady's name? Kay or something like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Gosh. She was with NC State
Yes,
as the coach.
that's right. That's exactly right. And I can't place
Man,
her.
I saw her name
Hey
on
Yao, I believe it
ESPN
is.
this morning.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and I can't remember it.
What'd you say, Rod?
Was it Kay Yao?
That sounds right. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then, of course, on that night, ironically enough, Robin Roberts followed Jim Valvano. And then,
Mm-hmm.
as you know, she ended up with cancer
Cancer,
and ended up
yes.
winning the Arthur Ashe Award.
Yes.
So just unbelievable. And then, of course, Stuart Scott's speech,
Was
bringing his
amazing.
daughters up on stage. Yeah. So I'll be
Isn't
very
it pretty
interested. I'm gonna watch
wild?
the ESPYs after this to see, what happened this tonight's Arthur Ashe Award winner, who that could be.
Isn't it pretty wild though to think about something like that? The speech to have him to say, do you think I care
Mhm.
about 30 seconds left, and everybody saying don't go to this and all this stuff, being warned by doctors not to go to it, and like it's an inspiration to life, right? Because you look at your life and all the things that you avoid doing, and all the stuff that you play by the book, you follow the rules because you're supposed to do it that way. But in reality, like whenever you're faced with, he was well aware of his time was limited on earth, right?
Mhm.
So who gives a crap? Let's take advantage of it. And to see that inspiration, it's kind of like, man, it hits you like, what do I need to rethink about my life? How can I be living in a way that I should be caring a little bit less about that guy in my ear saying 30 more seconds, 30 more seconds. You're over time.
Right.
And
Yeah.
is what's crazy is he gifted us with a legacy because he decided to ignore that person.
Right. Right. And
That's
makes a
exactly
joke
right.
about it while ignoring in process, but I'm not trying to recommend everybody speak longer than what they're supposed to speak. If you're listening, preachers out there, make sure your people are out at lunch. um, we don't want anybody citing the Culture of Splife podcast from the
Yeah.
pulpit out there saying, hey, they told me I could go till 2. It's cool. Everybody's back there asleep.
Like the home run derby, give everybody a break,
Right.
Yep.
come back
Yeah.
in, listen some more.
If you're going to preach till 2 p.m., you got to give people a water break.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, or don't get up there and talk about, you think I care what this sound guy is saying to me in the background right now, or the AV guy, you think I care?
So my father-in-law is a pastor, right? And it's not the sound guy that gets him; it's his wife. That's what she'll be doing if he gets too long-winded. Like,
Yeah.
starts pointing because he's gonna look at her, right? Been married for all those years. He's gonna look at, is she interested? Am I doing a good job? And she's over there, gotta eat.
Speaking of time, haven't been hearing much about Dame time recently. So it'll
No,
be
we haven't.
interesting to see what happens there. And then, of course, in Scoot's first game, he injures his shoulder. So I don't know how bad that is, but if that was the insurance policy to Dame Lillard, I'd be a little nervous.
I just feel like they're okay with tanking again this year.
Yeah.
I mean, just to see what we can get. So they don't mind slow playing Dame here at this point because, like, we're not looking to make the playoffs or do anything significant this season. So we got all the time in the world just to screw with you.
Right. Have y'all been watching any of the summer league?
Well, I mean, we got Keontae George just a walking triple double here, and Wemby showed up particularly in that second game there, and so. And then we talked about the man Brandon Miller. You know, but I thought even at Alabama, his game actually translated more to the pro game than it did the college game. So,
Really? Okay.
I mean, when he was at Alabama, I always said he looks like Paul George. I mean, and that's basically what his game looks like.
I'm a little bit worried about his shot because he's not going to have as much time in the NBA to get that 3-point shot up that he did in college. And I see his timing is off a little bit. Now, of course, I didn't see his performance last night, 26 points on 3 of 6 from the 3-point line and 6 of 8 from 2 or whatever it was. But he just doesn't look as fluid as he did in college. Now, granted, it's his third game in the summer league. I'm not like the talking heads that are going to say he's a bust. He does. They do need to remind him that he only gets 5 fouls before he fouls out on the sixth one
Yeah.
in the regular season, but he gets what, 8 or something like that in the summer league, and he's used all those. So it'll be
I mean, he's
interesting.
gonna have to
But
get used to the speed of the game in the NBA. It's a different ball game.
definitely,
And I guess I could just say he's a Diet Coke version of Paul George because I mean everything he does is rhythm. So when he gets those games where all of a sudden he's made like five in a row, he's a rhythm player,
right.
more so than and he's gonna have to develop real consistency and get used to the speed of the game there. But that's kind of where I could see his ceiling being if he makes the adjustments.
But what we do have to remember is he's playing with guys that will either be playing on Tuesday nights in Birmingham in the future or not playing at all, playing
Correct.
European leagues, whatever. So I've watched a good bit of summer league and it is tough to watch. I mean,
Yes.
like routine passes and they miss by 5 feet. It's like, whoa, what did you see there? That sort of thing.
I mean,
So,
it's like some of it is almost like mid-level AAU basketball.
right,
Right. Yeah, I've seen
where,
some hoop it up better than summer
Mhm.
league, but I
right.
don't I don't know. I appreciate it to a degree because I'm not a good basketball player. So it's kind of like, yeah, I could go out there and do that, man. And I actually like mean it instead of when I'm like, oh LeBron, you missed a dunk, you suck. Like okay, whatever. That dude would. If I played him one on one, I would never even like see the ball. Like, it would just be the back of his jersey would be all I would see.
Right.
So I sort of appreciate it, but it does make for some interesting highlights, that's for sure. And that's all I've gotten into thus far. This season of the summer league is just highlights, but I
Mhm.
feel like it sums it up pretty well.
The Hornets are going to be a lot of fun to watch this year. I mean, with LaMelo Ball, with what's the guy's name who got taken advantage of by that girl, got pregnant and left.
Oh yeah, PJ Washington.
PJ Washington, there it is.
Hmm.
And then the guy that beat his girlfriend from Michigan State. He's a
We're
stud.
going to need to be more
He
specific.
was out of the NBA for a year, a big
I know. Yeah, I
four.
can't remember his
He was
name
in the
now.
dunk contest years ago. Oh, I can see him. Michigan State. That's going to drive me nuts. But anyway, he's back from a year suspension from the domestic violence, signed a qualifying offer or whatever. So they're going to be a pretty good, or at least fun team to watch. Much
Hmm.
like my Orlando Magic. Probably won't, may get a play in, but probably not. But at least fun to watch.
Hey, if we go over 500, we're a fun to watch team, though, right?
That's it.
Yeah,
All we got to strive for
That's right.
nowadays. Get
that's
hot
it.
at the end of the season and go over 500. We're going to be a
That's
fun
right.
team to watch.
Right. Speaking of going over, fellas, we barely went over.
That's right.
Pretty impressive. So, Drew, will you please give us the answers? The other team, I don't know how many teams it is. We mentioned the Cleveland Browns,
Oh,
but
yeah, the Bills. It was the Bills.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
oh, too soon, Scott Norwood.
Yeah,
No.
no, it's funny because like I'd forgot about it when we were in the middle of it, and like I didn't think about it again. But yeah, it was the Bills. Somebody actually got it. They named the Browns, the Bills, and the Chargers. They were like, well, these three teams, but again, I think I misworded the question.
Mhm.
So they are correct today. The Chargers don't have
But they
cheerleaders,
don't.
but
But at one point
I
in time, they
also
did.
think I also think the Texans might qualify in the today standpoint, right?
Gotcha.
Okay.
From lack of cheerleaders and also lack of Super Bowls. If we went by all the teams today, so that would be four. But the two that I was looking for were the Browns and the Bills.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're in like climates that are synonymous with lake effect snow. So, I mean, not the easiest places for cheerleaders, right?
Right, right. Right? It's weird that Detroit wasn't on the list. So apparently, at some point, Detroit has had cheerleaders.
Well, I mean, they've
Godspeed.
had the Pontiac Silverdome since what, the early '80s.
Well,
So
that's
I mean, I
fair.
guess
That's fair. I
yeah.
guess it is a little bit a little bit more thought out than what I was thinking. So because I
And
was thinking,
they're still in a dome today, aren't they? In
Yeah,
Ford
Ford
Field, the
Field.
dome?
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was thinking they went dome like 90s or something like that,
Mhm.
and not 80s.
So
But
yeah, they did.
I'm
I
going
know
with
Barry
Rodney.
Sanders played in that dome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Well, all right. 8:39, y'all. 8:39. We
Yeah.
probably didn't start on time. We had the technical difficulty with the wiki,
Yeah, I
right?
know. We
Yeah,
had some scratching going on.
That's
once we
it.
edit this down, I think we put together a 30-minute
That's
podcast
right.
with all three of us.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I mean, we could
Absolutely.
almost title this one "Spinning Records."
No doubt. So we will be back at our normally scheduled time next week, right, fellas?
Yep,
That's right.
Tuesday.
8 o'clock Central next Tuesday. And then I will actually be off the next 2 Tuesdays after that. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll be off
But
that
we'll talk
next
about that
Tuesday. Yeah.
offline because
Oh,
I'll
that's
also
too
be
bad,
off.
Rod. I was hoping to just get some just a straight up WWE Culture of Splife podcast, just
Yeah,
to
we may have to
irritate
do
Josh,
that at some point. Yeah.
There
just
you
to make
go.
him mad, just so he had to listen to 30 minutes of me and you
Well,
talking
hey,
about
maybe
WWE.
the week after that, when he's not there, we can have the SummerSlam edition for this podcast,
Oh, there you go. There you go.
and it's gonna be at Ford Field. So there you go too.
There you go.
2 hour podcast. That's what that's going to be. And we want you to listen to the whole thing, Josh.
I'll be there for sure. So you never know what you're going to get with our show, right? We talk about everything. We try to talk about the things that are in season, and it's been a little difficult recently because the very popular sport of the NFL, football, there really hasn't been a whole lot going on recently, but that will be changing in the next few weeks. We got training camp starting.
All right, it's
I
coming
heard
up.
the New York Jets are going to be the Hard Knocks team, even though Saleh or Selah or whatever his name is doesn't want it, but the NFL has chosen them, so I don't know if he has a say in
Asian
that or
Rex
not.
Ryan.
Yeah, exactly. Rex Ryan in that mouth. I think Corey Reamer was on that one, the linebacker from Alabama.
Yes.
Yep. But like I said, regardless of what we talk about, it should be entertaining. And like I said, could be a DJ involved. You just never know. But as Drew started us off at the beginning of the show, you can find us everywhere social media is found. So if you're not already following us, why? Start following us. We had a lot of people come in today. Start following us, and so that's my
I
Jimmy
promise
V.
that was accidental.
My Jimmy V producer just talked in my ear, so I will cut it off for sure. So we will see y'all next Tuesday.
All right.
Here you go. You ready? All right. See y'all next Tuesday.
All right.